right, Roy. Where are we?
Embarrassing at all. Oh, my mic. We are at the Giant Eyeball in Dallas.
Would you call it an icon?
An icon?
That's pretty good.
Today we're talking about some more conservative understanding of sex and relationships. And some people think that the way that God views you is like the giant eyeball. Just kind of God staring at you, looking at you very intimately, and judging you for everything you do.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Here, let's get some space from the eyeball. Because I don't like that. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Studio 3A. My name is Anna, and this is my friend Roy.
Hi, I'm Roy.
Hi, Roy. This is an online community for people who aren't afraid to ask hard questions, and we're so glad you're with us. If you're watching along with us, we are chatting with you live. And if you're not watching it live, please drop a comment. We love to talk to you. We're big talkers.
Yeah.
As he hesitates. So, Roy, what's going on today?
There are two things we need to address.
Okay.
One, your voice is still recovering.
I'm still Sophia Bush.
Yes.
Obviously.
Two, the hat.
What about the hat?
It's incredible.
Thank you.
I'm jealous that I don't own a trucker hat with my name on it.
I could get you one.
I think I need it.
I think you do.
Okay, it's next week. It might take more time.
A little more time,
okay,
but
at some point I need a trucker hat with my name on it.
Camo?
I mean, I think maybe glitter should be involved.
I think I could make that happen. Actually, that might be easier than you think. Okay.
So this week we're talking about, we're starting a new series about relationships.
Yeah, Better Together.
Better Together. And we're starting with intimate relationships, romantic relationships.
Okay.
Marriage. So I have a series of questions from the New York Times.
Oh.
From 2016.
Okay.
Questions to ask before getting married. And
okay.
I thought we should just
go through them.
Yeah.
Nothing like a little post-marriage, pre-marriage question session.
Correct. Well, and we're work married.
We are work married.
Right. So I just need to know what I'm getting myself into.
Okay. I agree. I agree. I think my husband would agree.
Did your family throw plates, calmly discuss issues, or silently shut down when disagreements arose?
Silently shut down.
We mostly shut down, but there's some yelling. Sometimes when you really lose it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we just would do like cold shoulder stuff.
Yeah. But, yeah. Will we have children?
No.
We won't.
Dogs. We both come to this family. It's a blended family.
Yes. We both
I have two dogs, Jackson,
one.
Juno.
I have one, Annie Girl.
Yeah, so we are a blended family.
But will you have kids?
Yes.
You talked about it with your husband?
Yes, we do talk about it.
This is the first
eventually.
time that you're sharing this news with him?
No.
Okay. Will you change diapers?
Yes. Is that negotiable?
Apparently it is.
Okay. Continue.
I changed the diapers of my little siblings. Will our experiences with our exes help or hinder us?
How
many exes do you have?
I was about to say that would require me to have exes.
You never dated anyone before Kyler?
I dated one guy for 1 month, so I don't really count. What about you?
I had two. I mean, I dated a girl for 2.5 years, and then I dated a guy for 10 years.
Okay.
And now I've been with my fiance for 3 years, so just over 3 years.
Okay. So will your exes hinder or help us?
I don't know. I mean, it's made me older, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wiser.
You're wiser.
I'm so much wiser than I was before. How important is religion?
Kind of a non-negotiable for me.
Will we celebrate religious holidays?
Yes.
Okay. Is my debt
probably together.
I know.
Probably every religious holiday together.
Is my debt your debt?
No. Oh, debt? I thought you said dad. Yes. In a work marriage, no.
In a real marriage?
In a real marriage, yes. I did. We both,
You both came in with debt?
Yeah.
Neither Jacob and I have debt, so that's We're very privileged.
You
I
are.
acknowledge the privilege.
Okay, give me like 3 more.
Okay. What's the most you're spending on a car?
I'm my finance.
Y'all like cars.
Yeah, we do like cars. My financial planner is not in the room.
Yeah.
His name is Kyler, my husband.
What's the most you're spending on a couch?
The last couch we bought was probably like $2,300.
That's a lot. Couches are more expensive than people think, and
But
by
we
people
also,
I mean me.
Yeah, and we
I want to
also
spend
have
like
dogs.
$200 on a couch, and that's not happening.
And this is why we don't live together. Continue on.
Do we like each other's parents?
Yeah,
I don't know your parents.
I know.
Do you like Kyler's parents?
Yeah, I do.
Would you say if you didn't?
Yeah.
Are you telling the truth?
Have you met me? Yeah, I would.
Yeah. How important is sex to you is a question we're not going to answer in a work environment. How far should we take flirting with other people?
I think we should not flirt with other people.
You know, sometimes it's just, if it's low key, you're just being playful sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know
you don't
how I
like
feel
that?
about that. I
You don't
can't
like
rapid fire answer that. I think
Tyler's
this is
not
where
very flirtatious, so it's
Yeah.
not something you have to worry about.
No, and I don't know. I need more time to think about that question.
Okay.
I can't rapid fire answer that. So I think that, this is a lot to think about.
Okay.
I think that we can
hold
do
on. I've got one more.
Okay.
I've got one more. What do you admire about me?
Oh, I admire your patterned shirts.
Oh, thanks.
Nobody wears confidently patterned shirts like you do.
And that's all we have time for. So I admire your trucker hat and the confidence that it takes to pull off a trucker hat with your own name on it. That's what I admire.
At least it's not a tattoo of my maiden name on my chest.
That's a thing?
It is in Randolph County, North Carolina.
Okay. So now I'm going to do a little poem.
Okay, great.
A reflection, if you will. And then Mitchell's going to give us a message about marriage, relationships.
Yeah.
And some bads that people say about, bad things Christians say about marriage, which is
A
plentiful.
lot.
And maybe we can reframe it as some good things.
Yeah. Sounds
We'll
like
be
a
back.
plan.
I Carry Your Heart With Me, I Carry It In, by E.E. Cummings. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I'm never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart.
So my wife and I celebrate 12 years. 12 years of marriage. That's a long time. And it's been amazing and beautiful and hard, but like the best thing that's ever happened to me, right? Like outside of the birth of my 2 boys, our wedding day is the 3rd most amazing event in my life. And I have absolutely loved every second of our marriage, even though each day I feel like I have to choose to be in a marriage. I have to choose love. I have to choose the work that it takes to be in a relationship, right? Marriage is ultimately a choice. It doesn't just happen for us. But one of the amazing things about a marriage and a partnership, a lifelong partnership, is this idea that we have someone in our corner, someone who's going to support us, who's going to encourage us. Marriage is a beautiful gift from God and provides us, right, with this sense of assurance that only can be found in relationship. I remember I was nervous. I was preaching my first sermon at a church, my very first appointment, right after I had gotten married to Eli. And I was nervous. Worried I was going to say something stupid into the microphone. I was a little sweaty, a little anxious. But just seeing my wife in the congregation gave me a sense of peace and calmness and allowed me to trust that regardless of how things go, I had someone in my corner, someone who is willing to stand next to me, to support me, to make me the best version of myself. And ultimately, that is what a good marriage is all about. This ability to know that you can trust someone so deeply, so completely, that it allows you to be a better version of yourself. And it's really all about equality, seeing one another as true partners, as true equals. I do a lot of marriage counseling, and I require it of every couple I marry. Before the wedding, they come and sit with me in my office, and we talk about a whole host of things: communication, family origin, friendships, what kind of hobbies they like, to see if they're compatible. We talk about sex and how many children they want to have. We talk about it all. But the most important segment of our time together is when we talk about finances, because how we share our finances with our partner, with our spouse, matters. It is actually the basis for an understanding of equity and equality within a relationship. So I encourage couples to share bank accounts, share debt load, to make sure that they are sharing in all the expenses, regardless of what one salary is compared to another. Because if we can be completely equal in our financial states, then it leads to an understanding of seeing one another as equal in all sorts of areas in that relationship. And the number one reason, you can look this up, the number one reason people get divorced is not because they fall out of love or because of infidelity. It is because of finances. And too often, marriage, when spoken about in church settings, is spoken about from a traditional evangelical space that narrowly defines marriage and places a man at the head of a household. This is actually a poor interpretation of Genesis 2, but I am sure you've heard marriage defined this way: that marriage is only between a man and a woman, and that the man is the head of the marriage, the authority, the spiritual leader, the one in charge. And marriage is best understood through the relationship that Adam and Eve have in the Garden of Eden. When we approach marriage this way, when we misappropriate and misapply Genesis 2, dangerous things are said from our pulpits. And we get preachers saying things like this.
Now, I got an amen. Let's see if you amen this. Now, ladies, when it comes to his wedding night, he has been planning this day his whole life. So just stand where he tells you to stand, wear what he tells you to wear, and do what he tells you to do, and you're going to make him the happiest man in the world. That's it, man. Okay. That was free. That was free.
Now, Pastor Josh Howerton may be joking. He said he was joking, but it is still a very dangerous thing to say to a church. It's really, really dangerous, actually. It creates all sorts of issues around power and equality. And it creates notions that a wife's role in a marriage is to do whatever her husband wants sexually, which creates environments that possibly lead to rape and sexual assault and violence. Misapplying a marriage relationship through Genesis 2, right, creates all sorts of problems for us when we think about our relationships. And often the church has used Genesis 2 in the story of Adam and Eve as a text in support of marriage, and that is actually applying the text poorly. Because Genesis 2, the creation story, God forming Adam from the topsoil, from the dirt, and then putting Adam to sleep, removing a rib and creating Eve, essentially. That is actually not a story about marriage. It's a story about what it means to be human, what the needs are that we have, and how God meets our needs. But we know this already, right? Because in the scripture, we see that Adam is lonely. To be human is to be prone to isolation. It's about being susceptible to loneliness. And we see in this creation story, God forms us out of dust. Adam is shaped and molded. Life is breathed into him. And yet he is not complete. He is lonely. The birds, the cattle, the animals of the field, they cannot provide a suitable partner to him. And Genesis 2:18 says this, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper as his partner." Here's the truth. Genesis 2:18 rings true today. We still are facing significant issues of loneliness. There is a crisis of loneliness in our country. It's a truth. It's a fact seen in a number of studies and is deeply embedded in multiple generations. The AARP has reported multiple times that baby boomers and Gen Xers are, in fact, very lonely. Millennials feel isolated and alone. While they are technologically connected, they are socially disconnected. And Gen Z and studies around the Gen Z generation show that they are the loneliest generation on record. In fact, loneliness is such an issue that the Surgeon General last year put out a report defining loneliness as an epidemic in America. And so God provides us a solution. God gives us one another as a sacred gift. Relationships are sacred and necessary and diverse. Genesis 2 invites us to see all relationships, friendships, marriage, our community as a good and holy thing. But just because Genesis 2 isn't prescriptive about marriage doesn't mean it isn't descriptive about how we are to be in relationship with our husband, wife, partner, boyfriend, or girlfriend. Notice God gives Adam a helper, and Ezer is the noun here in the Hebrew. And while we may hear the word helper and think subordinate, a position that's just a little lesser than, Ezer is used over 100 times in the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible, and it is used in a variety of contexts. It's used to talk about someone who intervenes on behalf of someone else, someone who fixes a situation, who sustains someone. It describes positions of power. It describes military aid. Ezer, the same noun that is used for woman here, or helper in Genesis 2, is also used to describe God. It's not meant to denote subordination or lesser than status. And notice in the Genesis 2 reading that when Adam encounters Eve for the first time, when man meets woman, man doesn't see difference. Adam doesn't see difference. He marvels at likeness, praising the sameness between the two. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. We must see all of our relationships as opportunities to promote equality and equity between two individuals. Whether it's our friendships, whether it's a relationship we have with a neighbor or fellow church member or fellow citizen, and even in our marriage, maybe first in our marriage, we have to see one another as equal. Because if we don't, we miss the beautiful gift that God is offering us. This beautiful opportunity to curb and to combat the loneliness that we're prone to. Paul talks about it this way, that love is patient and kind. It's not envious. It does not boast. It seeks good. When we fall in love and when we enter into a marriage covenant, we want the best for our spouse. And regardless of what anyone tells you, we can't get to the best version of ourselves or the best version of our partner unless there is equality in the relationship. May we continue seeing the good gifts of relationships as an opportunity to fight for this equality and ensure that we practice it in our homes, in our places of work, and in our communities. Because without it, we cannot flourish.
So you grew up in a more conservative tradition. Was it there this idea of like the man takes the lead in the relationship?
Yeah, it was definitely like a conservative like culture because I'm from North Carolina and like teeny tiny town. And I'm sure like surely the other like Baptists, it was mostly Southern Baptists in that area. Like surely they were teaching that. They definitely did in my campus ministry in college.
Yeah.
And I remember like I would always stay single before I like let a man be the only one making decisions. Like that just isn't, it's not partnership to me.
So
I was uninterested in a marriage like that.
You're saying that your campus ministry is the reason you were single and you're blaming it all on them?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Makes
Yeah.
more sense.
I have no exes because of my campus ministry.
So
Yeah.
my younger brother went to Alabama and met his wife there and got married in rural Georgia.
Okay.
On in the foothills.
Yeah, I bet it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. There was a shotgun going off in the background. I think someone was shooting quail or something. I don't know. Whatever they do.
Remind me to
Keep
tell you my
shooting.
turkey story later.
Okay. And they had their Young Life leader officiate the wedding because they met in Young Life.
Yes, that checks out.
And which, for those who don't know, is a more conservative campus ministry and
Yes.
youth ministry environment.
Yeah.
And there was some part during the marriage where they were in the ceremony where the officiant turned to her and was like, and you're going to trust him to make the decisions, and
Yeah.
it's basically like God tells the man and the man tells the woman. And I went up to after the ceremony and I was like, do not trust him for anything. You are in charge.
As they say in my big fat Greek wedding, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And the neck can turn the head any way she wants.
That's better.
That's how I live my life.
I think we should just be equal.
I think you're right.
It's
Like,
easier for gay
I
people
prefer...
because it's just like, well,
Y'all got to make decisions together.
yeah.
Yeah, I prefer a partnership. I'm really grateful for the way that like Kyler and I both like approached marriage. And like really that's how a lot of people in my friend group do. Like it's been really cool to watch all of us like get married and like kind of find our system and that kind of thing.
My ex's mother once asked him, like, who cooks and cleans? And we're just like, what?
Both of us.
Like, it doesn't... We're liberated from the gender binary, ma'am.
And we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let us know how, what is your view on relationships? What did you grow up thinking? Is that your reality now? I definitely have changed. It sounds like you've definitely leaned more into who you are
I haven't changed once.
in your whole life. Anyway, we can't wait to see you next week. We'll see. Well, that whole thing just fell apart. We're going to see you next week.
I can't trust you for anything.